kala Vanyanuraga kalayatma javad grananta sambodhayanti aham evaham upahritastai ye brahmanan mai dhiya kshpator chantas tushyadridha smita sudhokshita padma vaktra Vanyanuraga kalyatma javad grananta sambodhayanti aham evaham upahritastai Ye brahmanan mai dhiya kshapator chantas tushyadridha smita sudhokshita padma vaktra vanyanuraga kalayatma javad grananta sambodhayanti aham evaham upahritastai Ya brahmanan mai dhiya kshapator chantas tushyadridha smita sudhokshita padma vaktra Vanyanuraga kalayatma javad grananta sambodhayanti aham evaham upahritastai. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ye, which persons, Brahmanan, the Brahmanas, me and me, Dhiya with intelligence, Shipta, uttering harsh words, Archayanta, respecting, Tushyat, gladdened, Rida, heart, Smita, smiling, Sudha, nectar, Ukshita, wet, Padma, lotus-like, Bhaktra, faces, Manya, with words, Anuraga Kalaya, loving, Atmajavat, like a sun, Grananta, raising, Sambodhayanti, pacify, aham, I, eva, as, aham, I, upaharita, being controlled, by them. Translation. On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart, and who, their latest lotus faces, enlightened by nectarian smiles, respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. They look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you. Purport. It has been observed in many instances in Vedic scriptures that when the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas curse someone in an angry mood, the person who is cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas in the same way. There are many examples of this. For instance, the sons of Kuvera, when cursed by the great sage Narad, did not seek revenge in the same harsh way, but submitted. Here also, when Jay and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras, they did not become harsh towards them. Rather, they submitted. That should be the way of treating Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. One may sometimes be faced with a grievous situation created by a Brahmana, but instead of meeting him with a similar mood, one should try to pacify him with a smiling face and mild treatment. Brahmanas and Vaishnavas should be accepted as earthly representatives of Narayana. Nowadays, some foolish persons have manufactured the term Daridra Narayana, indicating that the poor man should be accepted as the representative of Narayana. But in Vedic literature, we do not find that poor men should be treated as representatives of Narayana. Of course, those who are unprotected are mentioned here, but the definition of this phrase isn't clear from the Shastras. The poor man should not be unprotected, but Brahmanas should especially be treated as representatives of Narayana and should be worshipped like him. It is specifically said that to pacify the Brahmanas, one's face should be lotus-like. A lotus-like face is exhibited when one is adorned with love and affection. In this respect, the example of a father being angry at son and the sons trying to pacify the father with smiling and sweet words is very appropriate. Hare Krishna. Om Agnantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Prinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you once again, dear devotees. So today the entire class is going to be on one theme, that is Vaishnav etiquette. So we'll examine this, an overview of Vaishnav etiquette and a specific instance as to when a certain situation arises, what should be the correct behavior. So overview, and then this situation is what we're talking about, something which is harsh that a Vaishnav does. Now, Vaishnavas are very gentle people, but there are situations at times when it seems to be harsh or hurtful, like someone gets angry with you, chastises you, curses you. In that case, what is the proper behavior? So this is what we're going to look at today. So you're familiar with these pictures. One is the Dandvat Pranam, and the other is Namaste. Namaste, you know, I'm offering my respects to you, these folded hands. These are gestures of respect. So let's see what Vaishnav etiquette is. Before that, a few quotes which are very pertinent to today's discussion. Etiquette is simply about consideration for others. Madhupati Prabhu has been saying this, right? That humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking more of the other person. It's not low self-esteem, humility. And etiquette, especially Vaishnav etiquette, requires humility. In absence of humility, it is not possible to do that. Why? Because etiquette is consideration for others. We are in such a state that we're all the time considering for ourselves only. What's in it for me? But etiquette is something where you are considerate about the other person's feelings, the other person's rights. That is that respect. Then there's another one. Respect for ourselves guides our morals. We should have a lot of self-respect, not false ego. Many people think that false ego, ahankar, is I think great of myself. No, don't think great of yourself, my Guru Maharaj says. Be grateful instead. So respect for ourselves guides our morals. Morals is like a GPS, which tells us what is the right and the wrong thing to do in given circumstances. Respect for others guides our manners. Manners is the way we behave. So respect for yourself is morals, and respect for others guides manners, how we behave. Vaishnav etiquette, the first principle, some weeks ago, some months ago, Brahmachari, His Grace Damodar Prabhu from Radha Gopinath Mandir had conducted this seminar, Vaishnav etiquette. The first principle is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the overarching principle of everything. Now, to do this, correct, we need to do introspection. We are all on the path of bhakti. We are sadhanas, sadhakas. So our behavior is very important. It's not just the do's and don'ts, but how we go about doing that. So we always need to be thinking within self-introspection. Here, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has given such a wonderful instruction. When the faults in others delude you, stop, look within, introspect, find faults with yourself. No one can harm you if you don't harm yourself. What happens is they're always finding faults with others, and finding faults in others is like shooting yourself, self-inflicted wounds. So self-introspection, that's Vaishnav etiquette. There are 6 main things of classification in Vaishnav etiquette, how it could be implemented. It is in A for attire, B for behavior, C for culture, D for dealings, E for ethics, and F for food. So from A to F, this governs our entire manner of interacting with each other in Vaishnav Sangha. And also, it's not just in the Vaishnav Sangha, but also at society at large, in our personal relations, in our professional relations, in our spiritual relations. This is what Vaishnav etiquette. So if we can follow each of these under this heading, there are certain do's and don'ts that we do. At that point in time, it becomes, the sadhana becomes very pleasing to Krishna, and progress is just the consequence in bhakti of that. So it's a whole different seminar, which was for many days. We can't cover, but this is just an overview of the Vaishnav etiquette. Excuse me, my fingers hanging. Okay, now let's understand this grievous situation created by the Vaishnav and then how to behave. As we said earlier that, Vaishnavas are very gentle souls, very gentle. So it's kind of a disconnect, right? When somebody who's so gentle is just getting angry. But no, we should understand this. When we get angry, it is a shortcoming on our part. We haven't been able to control ourselves. We can't control ourselves. That's why anger comes in. But however, with the Vaishnav, that anger is just another tool to bring others closer to Krishna. This is who a Vaishnav is. So the purpose in which anger is being used, we use anger as a reaction. It's a reaction to something that has pinched a false ego. So it is for myself and I get angry. Whereas a Vaishnav doesn't get angry for himself. The Vaishnav gets angry for either making a correction in the other person, which would bring that person closer to Krishna. That's the difference. Now, this grievous situation, that's how we can understand it. The Vaishnava is an ever well-wisher. He's always thinking well of you. Look at it like this. A parent or a teacher, when the child is very naughty, may chastise that child with harsh words, may punish that child, take away his privileges. No, you can't see TV for 1 week, you're grounded. In my time, we used to also get beatings, you would get slapped and things like that. But it is never done out of hatred. No, it is so that you correct the behavior. If the behavior remains unchecked, the person becomes wild, like an animal. So the Vaishnav is a para dukha dukhi. The other's suffering, he cannot tolerate it. He doesn't say, I don't care, it's not happening to me. Even his curses are blessings in disguise. Why is it a blessing in disguise? Because this Vaishnav, when that Mataji will curse, it is to bring you closer to Krishna, to bring some reformation in our behavior. So how should we behave when a Vaishnav we offend a Vaishnava or a Vaishnava gets offended with us, rather. One is be tolerant. When the Vaishnava is chastising us, be tolerant. Don't immediately react. Okay, you said this, even I'm saying this. You said this, I'm going to justify why I did this. No, be tolerant. Act, don't react. We're all programmed to react to circumstances, to stimuli. Someone praises me, it feels very nice, and I think very highly of this person. I'll take him under my shelter. Someone criticizes me, oh, he did that. Even I have to do something. No, stop. Be submissive. Listen. Consider that what does a Vaishnava thinks that everyone else is a Vaishnava, I'm not a Vaishnava. So if I'm trying to be a devotee, a Vaishnava, I should know that everyone is a Vaishnava and I'm not a Vaishnava. I'm trying to be a Vaishnava. So he's an authority. Now there is authority which is defined, like the temple leadership. Madhupati Prabhu is the president. Devkinandan Prabhu is the vice president. Simeshwar Prabhu is the secretary. Like there are these different roles that they're playing. They are doing it as a seva. They're servant leaders. The first thing is they're servants. Everyone is a servant. But they're in that position. They're doing a service to Krishna. And we're part. We're little parts, like a big machinery. We're little parts in that service to Krishna. So when this part is becoming squeaky or it's not working properly, the engineer has to come and fix it. So he's an authority or she's an authority. We should look at them as authority. Whose authority? Not their own authority. We all try to assert our own authority. Every one of us is trying to be a little Ishvara, a little controller. No, that authority of a Vaishnava is coming from Krishna. As Prabhupada said in his purport, that these are representatives of Krishna. They are Narayan's representative. And a Narayan's representative is as good as Narayan. When we come to the temple and we see Shri Radha Shyam Sundarji, we are awestruck with wonder. It leaves you speechless. You offer your obeisance. But to his representative, criticize, complain, have ill will towards. So be tolerant, act, don't react, be submissive. Understand that the Prabhu or Mataji is the authority, and its authority is not necessarily in temple management and leadership. Just the fact that the person is a Vaishnava bestows on that person the divine authority, not divine authority in the sense that they are representatives of Krishna. And there is something they're doing for Krishna, which is bringing us closer to Krishna. We may not realize it may not be obvious. But this is what is happening. This is how it has been set up. And be gentle. Always be gentle. Be gentle with everybody, not just with Vaishnavas, but more so with a Vaishnava. Be gentle. Gentle is what? The same thing. Having more consideration for that other, our behavior. Smile, pacify with love and affection. When the Vaishnava gets angry with us, keep quiet, listen to what that Prabhu is saying. What that Mataji, if I've offended you, what can I do to make it right? Don't give an excuse. Or, oh, even you do the same thing. Who are you to tell me? You're a hypocrite. All these things. So whenever we have these, and I'm not saying that a Vaishnava is fully perfect. Vaishnava is also on the path, but understand that he or she is way ahead of you. He or she is way ahead of you on that path. And if at all there are some instances where things are out of the ordinary, there is the Vaishnava etiquette is there in how to bring it up, in how to. And what happens is that all of us, Romapad Maharaj got given such a nice instruction. All this problem is, we are sadhakas, but we don't take shelter of Krishna. We take shelter of our own strength, our own capabilities, our own kabliyat. And that's why if anything happens, I have to do everything. So if some nonsense is happening, we don't say that, Krishna is seeing. Krishna is in the heart of everyone. Krishna knows what is going on. He's seeing. But I have to do the correction. I have to do this, or okay, I'm throwing my hands. You guys do what you want. Such a defeatist attitude. But there is a ways and means. Oh, but that person doesn't listen on me, doesn't take any feedback. Okay, even if the person doesn't do any feedback, if that behavior is being detrimental and pushing everyone away from Krishna, there is a proper way and means of how it should be addressed. There's always authority. There's always authority. The authority is also submitting to another authority. That authority is also submitting to another authority. So if we depend on Krishna fully, then these nonsense and whatever is the disturbances that we are real or it's imagined, we should know that Krishna is doing this to bring me closer. No matter what, I will continue with my service. The problem is we will not continue with our service simply because we think that I'm doing it for, this particular person, whether for the management or the leadership or a Bhakti Vriksha leader, or it doesn't matter what. No, you're doing it. Whatever we're doing it first for the pleasure of Krishna. First, Guru and Krishna. That's all that matters. Whether it's recognized, it's not recognized, whether it is easy going or whether it is extremely difficult. And the thing is, the more difficult it gets and the more we engage in seva, more it pleases Krishna and Guru. When things are easy, everyone is great. But what kind of difficulties that we are willing to go for the path of bhakti, the value increases. That value increases. Our transformation, our reformation becomes good. So this is a whole topic. It could be a seminar for several days of how to behave. But this is just an overview and an idea. And the best thing to do is to implement it in our day-to-day lives. There are many opportunities when external stimuli, Vaishnava behavior may offend us. Never mind, stop, introspect. Think about how I'm offending others. We may think that, oh, I'm a great devotee. I'm so gentle, I don't say any harsh words, whatever be that thing, but just think what we are doing to offend others rather than what others are doing to offend us. And if at all there is any situation where indeed there is something which is out of the ordinary, there is a proper way and means of how we go about raising that particular issue. So Prabhus, Matajis, please keep this in mind. You need to be tolerant to reach your destination, destiny. This is what it is. What is destiny? The things that we're doing to reach our destination. And this is a lovely quote by Dhanurdhar Maharaj. Karma is what happens. Destiny is what you make of it. It's our destiny. And if our destiny is to go back to Godhead, to become pure devotees of the Lord, his servant of the servant of the servant, then how we are reacting to karma, our own and others, is what will decide. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. We have 5 minutes for quick discussion, question, answers, correction, realizations. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. If no
Thank
one...
you so much, Amritananda Prabhu, for wonderfully presenting. The simple, it's seemingly simple, but it's the most difficult thing to execute on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing to the forefront of what's supposed to be in our behaviors. And we can look at our examples as in the life of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, when he brought up to Sri Prabhupada about others, how others are behaving, because of black body. So Prabhupada said, if you think you're also in the same category, that is also, you're also nonsense.
Yeah.
So the just example, obviously Maharaj is at the highest level in terms of bhakti, but just to give, so I think we all may have examples. We can look at examples and how they have taken up instead of reacting, and how we can follow that. So that will be nice.
So nice. So nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Bhakti. Srila Bhakti Tir Swami Maharaj. So nice. If you think that someone is misbehaving in you, you also are in ignorance. It is their ignorance that they're misbehaving you, and your ignorance that you are considering. This. So nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So much. Yeah. So these are these things day to day. Sadhana is, do's and don'ts, getting closer to Krishna. We're all trying to do that. We're all on the same path. None of us is perfect. Vaishnava etiquette is a grease. You see in a moving part, in engineering, in any machinery, there are gears that are moving with each other. And when these gears move, if one gear is moving this way, it is moving another gear in another way. And that's how the wheels of the vehicle are moving, transmission of power. That's how the machinery works. So there is contact. And because we are imperfect, none of us is perfect. Because we are imperfect, there is friction. Friction is when anything rubs against each other. That friction happens. And when it happens over a period of time, it wears off. It wears off. So what you do is, a smart person, a smart engineer, he puts grease. Grease makes it smooth. So rather than it just rubbing and scraping against each other, it smoothly goes over each other. So Vaishnava etiquette is that grease in our sadhana bhakti that prevents that rubbing off and the destruction of the machinery. Our own self, the gear itself is protected. And when it is interacting with other gears also, that also is protected. So the entire machinery can function properly. That is Vaishnava etiquette. And in our day-to-day lives, always think this, whenever something happens where immediately something pinches us, stop. Just stop. Take a step back. Take a step back. Don't react. Hare Krishna. Thanks for that. Gopikan Prabhu, on Sunday, we went to the beach to do morning japa. Excellent experience. If someone has the time and inclination, please do it. Prem Kishore Prabhu, wonderful organizer. We went there, and there are rocks on the edge of the seafront. We climbed those rocks and we were sitting and doing japa, and the sun started coming up. What a beautiful sight. And you can actually see that this is Krishna, and this is just one small little speck of Krishna. People say, oh, wow. But then here, we are reciprocating. Devotees are reciprocating by chanting his name. Thank you. Thank you for this. Just a simple thing of sunrise coming up. And then later on, he comes out, and then we came, and Prem Kishore Prabhu actually made hot upma on the beach. On the bench, he put one stove, portable stove, and made hot upma, breakfast. Lovely. And then Gopikan Prabhu gave a class. Simple. There were 8, 9, 10 people surrounded around the bench, and he's standing and he's giving his class. There are other morning walkers. People are doing jogging and whatever else they're doing, running up and down the boardwalk. And he gave a class, and he said something very significant, Gopikan Prabhu. He said that, book distribution, Sankirtan, preaching is like seeds. We're sowing seeds. That book is a seed. That invitation that we gave on Rath Yatra for Janmashtami is a seed. It goes and touches that person, and it will germinate into bhakti. Different seeds take different time to germinate, and different processes are there, but you've already done. So it's like you're sowing these seeds. And when we are engaged in seva, the more seva we do, the more and more we become humble. The more seva we do in an adverse circumstances, external or internal, the more humble we become. And then this Vaishnava etiquette principle becomes this. So there is so much seva opportunity coming up on tomorrow, on Friday. Wholeheartedly, get engaged in it. What more can I be doing? What else can I be doing? Not, oh, already I'm doing so much. Thank you, everybody. Over to you, Madhupati Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, Amritananda Prabhu, for a nice, wonderful presentation on Vaishnava etiquette. Yeah. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. The countdown towards Janmashtami has already begun. We're very, very close. Whatever service you are available for, please wholeheartedly perform that. Not only tomorrow, even if you are available today evening, we have some service. So today evening, tomorrow evening, and then we want to prepare everything by tomorrow evening for Friday. So Friday, we can wholeheartedly, completely be absorbed in the service of the Supreme Lord, thinking about the Lord, chanting His name. And so that the Lord's appearance, He appears also in our heart by our chanting, by our glorification of Him. Tomorrow there will also be Adivash ceremony where different articles used in the service of the Lord will be offered to the Lord. So tomorrow evening at 8:30 to 9, that will be performed. But before that, let's make sure that you are completely absorbed in service. Today also there is some service. If anybody is available, let us know. That's always nicely posted. Sponsorship levels. If you are not at any sponsorship level, like to, please contact us. Especially, I'm very excited about the Abhishek stand, which we are offering. Where right at home, I myself, when I do my deity worship at home, in a thali, at times things overflow and I make a mess. So this Abhishek stand is a nice way to prevent that at home. So take opportunity of that. Thank you very much. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Srina Singha, Jaina Singha,
Jaya
Jaina
Shingadeva,
Singha,
Praladesha,
Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringa, Ugra Veda, Nasingam, Vishnu Bhadram, Nityam, Namamiham, Narasimha Bhagwan ki,
Jai,
Prahlad Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha
Panchakalpatarubhasya,
Kalpatarubhasya, Patitanam
Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah.
Vaishnava ki Jai. Gopal ki
Jai,
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Lord Premanande.
Hare, 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 Hare.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Hare
you, everyone.